Hey guys, in this video, I'm going to teach you how to make a website on Squarespace. We're going to talk about how to actually get down to business and do it step by step. My name is Sam. I've been a photographer for 12 years and I'm here to teach you the business side of the hustle. I've been actually using Squarespace since I built my very first website for my photography business back in 2010. Ever since, every year, I kept changing the website, making modifications, but honestly, I've never went to a different site because Squarespace is so beautiful, it's so easy to use, and it has allowed me as a photographer to get really creative and do websites that I love and that I really feel like people get to see the pictures first and foremost. Of course, there's other websites you can be using, but in this video, I'm going to focus with Squarespace because I keep choosing it over and over again for literally the last 13 years. First of all, I want to tell you why I love Squarespace. One of the things I love about Squarespace is that it has a very easy pricing structure. I will show you a little bit later what the pricing looks like, but my favorite thing about it is that you can actually start building your website for free. Not only you get a trial, you can build a website for free and have a domain that they give you, and you can actually take as long as you need to play around and test things out without actually having to spend money right off the bat. I also love Squarespace because it's an all-in-one simple pricing solution. You get to include a domain and pay on it directly. You get to do the hosting and the website. It's all in one. Before I was on Squarespace, I had a domain on GoDaddy and I found it really complicated to update it every year and to make sure that my website wasn't going to expire and then connecting it to another website. It was a mess. Today with Squarespace, you can do all of this in one simple place. So now that you know why I love Squarespace, let's talk a little bit about a photography website in general. There are a few things that you need to include in a photography website, and I'm going to list them right here, right now. The very first thing, of course, is your portfolio. As a photographer, your work is going to speak for itself, so this is the very first thing you should be showing. Your picture should be big, should be beautiful, should be bright, should be high quality, and should be the main focus of your page. But portfolio isn't everything. Your portfolio can be subdivided into your main niches, so you can choose the different types of photography that you do. For example, if you're a wedding photographer, wedding photography, elopements, engagements, family portraits, etc. In my case, I do photography and video, so the main division on my site is on one side photography, on the other side video, and once you go in there, you can find my commercial, my travel, and my portrait photography, and on the film, you can find the same divisions as well. As well as your portfolio and the different niches that you focus on, you want to have a page about you. This is where people get to know about you, who you are, your experience, what have you done. The most important thing about this part is that you sell yourself. If you feel a little icky about doing that, ask a friend, ask a client, ask someone else to talk about you. But you want this to be like a resume. You want this to be a CV. You want this to be the place where you tell people your accomplishments, the kind of work that you've done so far, and who you are as a person, as a professional, and as a photographer. Last but not least, you want to have a contact form or a place where people can contact you. It should be very easy to find and it should be very accessible. People do this as a form. Some people do this as an email. Some people put their social channels. It is totally up to you, but make sure you offer 2 to 3 different ways for people to connect with you. Another thing that people like to include, and this is an on and off. Sometimes I think it's a good idea. Sometimes I'm not so sure about it. I'm going to leave that up to you. And that is a list of services. You want to let people know what kind of services you offer. Some people do this in the form of a full page explaining in detail the services that they offer, and this could be the case for B2C. So if you work with consumers that might not be fully aware of what the process looks like. If you're working with other businesses, simply listing the type of work that you do should be enough. Other businesses usually know that our rates are usually split by hour, by day, by rate, and by delivery. So you don't have to go into too much detail here. The goal of your website is to get people to book a call with you, to send you an email, and to get in touch, because your website ain't gonna sell for you. You're gonna sell for you. So remember, your website is to get people to contact you. And like I mentioned, you wanna have your contact form, yes, but it will be great for you to throw your social channels somewhere on the website. Some people prefer to browse and shop for services on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on TikTok. So if you have those, throw them on your website as well. What I'm gonna do now is walk you through my website, the different sections, what I've done and how I've created it. And lastly, I'm going to show you a couple of other tools and information that you need to create your website properly. Let's go. All right, guys, let's get started. Before I show you the back end of Squarespace, I want to show you what my website looks like so you get an idea what the possibilities are. Like I mentioned before, I think the most important thing when you're creating a website is that your photography or your work is first and foremost. So as we go through my website, you can see my logos over here. We have a couple of options for a menu here. I like to keep it very simple because I know that people are gonna go straight to photo or video, and then once they do that, they're gonna see the options within. Then you have an about me with some services and contact. And of course, because I'm an online coach and an educator, I need to make sure that if there are potential students looking for my platform there, they can link out to that here. As you can see, my cover page is simply that. You have a privacy policy. You can email me or find me on Instagram right away, and that's about it. So if you click in photo, it's going to go to what I consider my favorite or my most popular photo gallery, which is my editorial work. And as you see, it's a very simple portfolio page. As you scroll down, you're just going to see some of my best work. I can tell you that for each of these images, there's another 15 to 40 or so from the same shoot that I didn't include here. It is very important to curate your work and just pick the best of the best. You want people to be able to scroll fast, look through, and get an idea of what your work is about. I also have a fashion gallery, a hotel gallery, and a travel gallery. And this is because that is the kind of work I want to attract. This is the kind of people I want to work with. So as I scroll through, you can see that this is just my hotel work around the world. And under travel, this is something that I included because it's my personality, it's what I love, it's what made me who I am. And my travel gallery looks a little bit different, and that's why it's a little bit at the bottom here. But you can go in and see a collection of all my travel work. This is for those who have passion projects and really want to include the kind of work that they love and they feel like maybe doesn't fit anywhere else. There's always somewhere you can include this to represent you as an artist. If you go under my video tab, you can see that I have also a bunch of options here. I'll just take you back to the beginning so you see I did the exact same thing. I go to video here, and when you click, it goes straight into my brand stories video, which is the top of the menu, and you can scroll down to see the different video options. Same thing, if you go under the different categories, you're going to find the different types of videos. This makes it super easy for my clients to find the kind of work that they are looking for. Under about, you're going to find a page about me. You want to have a little blurb. I have a picture so people know what I look like, and my story, what I've been all about, and my journey, a little bit of personal touch here, and always a place for people to get in touch. I have a small description and a list of services that I offer, and rather than trying to give them prices or tell them more about it, I just simply have one CTA, a call to action, which is book a call. When people click this, it automatically goes into my Calendly, and people can book a call consultation for my photography work. Of course, I screen this call, so I don't take every call that gets booked because it's the internet, let's be honest, nobody has time for that. And at the bottom here, I have some testimonials, and you can click here to see more. See how I don't have that anywhere else on my page because I don't consider that a hugely important part of my website. I also have my list of clients and everyone that I worked with in the past, or some of the clients that I work with, big names that people will recognize. And again, get in touch at the bottom. Lastly, under contact is exactly the same thing. Getting in touch with me by email, booking a consultation, or on Instagram. You want to give people a very easy way to get in touch. And like I said, last but not least, we have my education site. When people click here, it opens a new tab because I don't want to navigate them outside of my website within the same tab. So that's my website in a nutshell. Like I said, I built this on Squarespace. So let me show you the price breakdown for Squarespace so you can get an idea what this costs, and you are going to be shocked. So this is Squarespace. It's so clean, it's so beautiful, it's so easy to use, and this is the breakdown of the pricing. I actually have always and ever used the personal side, which honestly, it's so cheap. For $16 a month if you do the annual plan, or $23 a month if you do the monthly, which I wouldn't recommend. I recommend doing annually. You actually get everything. You get your website that is optimized for mobile, so you don't have to worry about it being seen properly on mobile pages. You get get templates that you can use, and you get to include a custom domain. This is so important because that's going to make you professional. You don't want your website to be samantakatz.squarespace.com. You want your website to be straightup.com. So you can test what's available and pick something there. As you can see, the next option up has the same 3 main features, and then it has website analytics and e-commerce. So if you're a fine art photographer and you want to sell your prints, that might be your need. And of course, after that is way beyond what we're going to need now. So just to get started, we are going to work with the $16 a month program. The beauty of Squarespace is that you can start with a free trial, so you can actually build your website for free, completely, try and test everything out before you even decide that you're ready to go live. This is amazing because it really gives you a chance to try and test. But before we do that, let me show you my actual dashboard here. So this is my account on Squarespace, and you can see here's my website, and you can see that here's an old website. This is the website that I had before I created this new one, and I wanted to show you this because this website still exists. If I were to change my mind and decide I want to go back to that, all I have to do is pay for it, go live, and it's done. And it is amazing that I can still save this and use it. And I want you to see what that looks like from the inside. And what that looks like from the inside is basically the same thing as my current site, which is a fully operational site. It still has all of the tabs, it still has all of the pictures and everything. I just didn't like the style anymore. I found it a little bit crowded. I wanted to change the menus, and instead of just re-editing it, I decided to start from scratch. So this video, I think this website is from 2 years ago, which obviously I haven't used in a very long time, but I wanted you to see what that looks like. Okay, before I show you how to start a website from scratch, let me show you my website back end, because I didn't use a template. I actually created my very own, and this is because I just knew exactly what I wanted it to look like, and that's how I built it. So when you start a website, the very first thing you're gonna wanna do is set up your domain, create a main page, and then where you are going to be spending the most of your time is under pages. Inside pages is where you're going to have your main navigation menu, and you're going to decide what each one of those pages looks like. Again, this is just for you to see what the page looks like on the back end. So my home page is this one over here, and I actually don't have it linked in what it's called the main navigation, because this is the main navigation. If I wanted to do that, I could easily move this up to the navigation, and you're going to see in a minute that this pops up right here. See, now we have a home there. Because I don't want that to happen, I'm gonna keep that not linked, which means it's still live, it's still working, it's just not a linked page. And the way I created this main portal page is I simply added a section. I made the section into a gallery. Actually, I made the section into an empty block, and then I just added 2 pictures, and then with each picture, I added the picture and I linked it to the specific menu. So that is how I built that homepage. And then each one of the galleries, like I said, in the menu, I created it as a folder, and you have the options here. So you can create a blank page, you can pick a layout, you can do a blog page. But basically, for my purposes, I either use a folder, which is going to contain a bunch of pages inside. It doesn't actually become a page itself. And then you can see that all my pages are just simply a blank page. And when you go into the blank page and you go under edit, you're going to see that all there is to it is a text, editorial photography, and a gallery. I created a section, which is a gallery, and then I dumped my photos in here, and then I rearranged them in the way that felt good for me. And once that was done, you can actually edit the section. You can decide the width of the gallery, so that will be a full width, and that will be just an insert like I had it. You can select the spacing between the images. You can make it bigger, you can make it smaller, you can change the colors, you can basically do anything you want. And then I'm not going to save the changes because I like how things are. And then you can simply duplicate the page. And once you duplicate the page, you just change the title, go into the next one, change the title, and change the pictures. Another important thing to note here is that you can give the page a title, and you can give it a navigation title. So what that is simply what is going to show on your search bar when people enter that. And that's about it. That is my website in a nutshell. I made it very, very simply. I built it from scratch because I'm just somebody who likes to create things on her own. But I'm going to walk you through creating something with a template, which you're going to think I'm crazy for doing my own because this is so simple. Okay, so we're going to create website. It will be the same process if you start a new account. I'm going to create website and start from scratch. So when you do that, you're going to be given some templates and some options that you can look at. A great thing that you can do is you can click portfolio or you can click art and design just to see what the options are like. I like this one. We can do a preview and see what it looks like. And it's very similar concept to what I have. You have the different categories, and when you click here, you can go inside and the photos are going to be displayed. Let's look at one more. As you can see, there are so many options. Let's preview this one here. That's beautiful. I really enjoy the masonry. It's like a full visual gallery. So you could do something like that. But let's go with that first one that I found because I like that it's divided into categories. So we'll go with this first one here and just simply click start, and it's going to set the website up. While it's doing that, I wanted to show you this other website that is an amazing tool for building your website. It is really, really important when you're working with pictures that you make sure your photos are not too heavy, because this is going to make your website load really freaking slow, and it might turn clients away. If it's too slow, people are gonna go, I'm not interested, and they're going to leave. So enter tinyjpeg.com. This website is amazing. You just drag and drop your photos here. Let me do that again. You drag and drop your photos here. So I'll drag and drop 5 photos just to show you. And then you can see how my original photo is 2.7 megabytes, 1.5, 1.4, 1.2. They're pretty heavy files. So I just simply drop them on and it's gonna compress them, and then I can just simply download them as a smaller file. It's not gonna lose resolution, it's not gonna lose definition. It's just gonna make it a lot lighter so I can use it on my website. Okay, so once it's finished, you can see how much it actually saved in space. 20%, 12%, 13%, 17%. Of course, this might not seem like a lot right now, but I'm telling you, if you have a website with 100 images, this will make a huge difference. When you're done, you simply click download and your images will be ready to use. So let's go back to our site. The first thing that you're gonna wanna do is give your site a title. We're gonna call this test. And you are going to be literally walked step by step from what you can do. So I'm going to skip through this because I already know how to do this, but just know that if you decide to do this, it's going to be so easy and so simple. Okay, here we are. We have our page basically already made. All we're going to do now is literally drag and drop and replace. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at that main navigation. And as you can see, we have 2 main things. We have the name of our website here, and you could easily replace this with your logo, or you can just put your name. And we have 2 main pages, and like I said before, we can always duplicate that. Okay, so as you can see, it's already created from the template different pages. So it has the work, and under the work we have a couple of galleries already made, so we can simply go into one of these and edit. Here we go. When you come in, you can edit your title here. So let's call this, I'm gonna name this fashion or editorial, why not? And then what you're gonna go is go into this section, you're gonna edit gallery, and you're going to simply remove the images that are already here and add your own. I'm gonna remove these because they're not mine. And I'm just gonna add a selection of images that I created for this video. I'm gonna start with just a few so you can see what it looks like. It's gonna take a moment to load, but once it does, what you can do is move them around and curate them in a way that makes sense. I'm gonna leave it like this for now, just to show you what it looks like. Once that's done, you can simply hit close. and then your images are on the page. So I would say that for my taste, these are a bit too big. So I will go under edit section and make sure that the photos are a little bit smaller. And I love that, just making 2 photos per row. You can change the level of spacing if you want them more separate apart. If you don't want them apart at all, you can do that. And you can even change how it's going to be shown. If you want it to be a slideshow, if you want it to be a strip. I love the masonry because I think it really shows in full what the images look like. And there you go, that's it. So once it's done, you want to click save and make sure that everything you've done is saved, and then you're going to move on to the next page. So this is a really easy way to build a website from scratch if you are unsure how to create it, how to design it, and you have no idea in terms of style what you want to do. I would go on to the next one and then do the exact same thing. But let's go back to our main page for a moment here, because we're gonna need to edit those covers as well. So for this particular template, the way to change the covers here is actually you go into the settings, and you're just gonna have to play around. Each template is a little bit different, but you can click on the settings here and you can remove the image, and you can add an image that really represents your work or what that section is all about. So I'm gonna pick one of the same images that I had. It's going to load. I'm going to make sure I rename this the same, editorial, and you want the slug to also be editorial. Perfect, we're gonna say that. I would also say that instead of work, I'm going to call this home, because it's the home page, and we can call this portfolio. There you go. Okay, we're gonna save that. And now you can see when you go back to your main navigator, it's now called portfolio instead of work, and you can see that that first picture has already been replaced, and then you will go and do the same with all of them. Once you're done with that, you can go on to the rest. So when you go into edit the page, in any of your pages, you can go into your site header and actually edit it. You can go under site logo, and you can see I changed test to Samanta Katz website, but you could actually use a logo or a picture if you wanted to instead. I'm gonna leave it like that for now. And you're gonna have a lot of options. You can add your social links if you wanted to. You could add buttons if you wanted to. If you wanna put like a contact me, or you can leave just the menu as we have it. I'm gonna save those changes. You can see that actually the page that I created, instead of it replacing one, it actually duplicated it, and this is because it's a template. So now that it's been duplicated, what I've done is I actually made sure that this is my new homepage, and you can see it has a little house. So you do that by going at the bottom. Actually, it's already set at the homepage, but if it wasn't, you can click here to set as your homepage. Once you do that, this is going to allow me to delete the original one. Bye-bye, thank you template. And you can simply drag and drop this back to the main navigation, and you can see it appear over here. So I'm gonna leave it at that, because we could go on to this forever and ever and ever, but that is the gist of it, of how to create a website portfolio with your images, how to add different pages, how to change the images on each one. And of course, if you don't want to use a template, you can use blank pages and start from scratch. In that case, I will call this test portfolio. And same thing, this is going to appear on your menu, and when you go in, you simply edit, and you can add a section. If you wanted to add an already designed section, you can look on the left here and check for things like portfolios. If you like any of those, you can use this for your contact page, for an introduction, for an about, anything you like. If you wanted to make an image gallery, you could click image. These are different image galleries that you can use, and you can see they have like different styles that they're already kind of predetermined. We'll go with this one. You can kind of tell I have a style, don't you guys? I like things the way I like them. And again, it's already created for you. You go inside edit gallery, you want to delete everything that's not yours, and then you just simply add your own images. And then you just simply add your own images, you wait for them to load, and they're going to show up in the page, and you are ready to go. Here we go, our images are loaded and ready to go. We can just save this section and it is done. Let's say you love the way you created that portfolio and you want to replicate it. You simply go down here, you duplicate the page, And now you have a second one that is going to be exactly the same. And it's going to put it under the not link. But if you want this to be in your menu, you just put it up here. Now, if this were all under your photography portfolio, let's say, you can create a folder. You can call this portfolio or photography. Once you have the folder created, you can simply drag and drop your portfolio pages. Here we go. And now you can see that they are under photography. So that is how you can create a sub-menu on your header. All right, now that's it. I hope this was good, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video today. If you have any questions, any thoughts, if there's anything else you want me to teach you, leave me a comment below and I will be reading those very shortly. See you next time.